recalling that you were first in the regular army, and then after being discharged, you became a surgeon, a sergeant, and after getting an education, you returned to become a lieutenant. Could you share some information on the differences between these positions?
Share the differences between which?
These positions, the different
Oh,
positions.
well, sergeant is enlisted man, okay? And that's about a third rank up. You have, well, it's fourth rank. You have private, you have a private first class, you have a corporal, and then you have a sergeant. And then they go up, staff, master, first, that kind of thing. And then lieutenant is a step into being an officer. You first is a second lieutenant, then a first lieutenant, and then you're going up to general. So, as you can see, I was down the ladder. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
The difference? Okay.
Were there specific roles or responsibilities that come with each job?
Sure. Yeah. So now what? Now you're going to ask me what are they? Huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's difficult for me to answer that because I was in security work, and a lot of that stuff is rated as security and not to be published. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not for general information.
Yes, I completely understand. All right. Could you describe the typical training that you received?
Well, I don't know about typical training. When I first went in the service, I went through basic training in Fort McClellan in Alabama, and that was an infantry training. And after that was completed, I was selected to go to this school in Virginia, and that's where I went in for security work. And we had to learn, one of the things we had to learn was code. And, all those things fall into place, And then, as an enlisted man, I was working with several other enlisted men, and then when I became an officer, then I had charge of a couple guys that were into this security detail. Right?
Okay. Were you trained in first aid signaling, radio, or the use of any special equipment?
I'm not following you. First aid?
Were you trained in first aid or signaling or radio?
Okay. No. I don't think I was trained in first aid. That's a corpsman.
Okay. How about
falls into that category. But your next question was?
Signaling.
Yes.
Radio.
Yes.
Is there specific details you could tell us about the training?
Well, we spent a number of weeks in learning code. You had to be able to send and receive code. And then after we finished with the schooling, then we were assigned to a unit and went into that unit then and did our work that we were supposed to be doing.
Okay.
That doesn't answer that too good for you, does it?
No, it does. Actually, that's
Okay.
perfect. What was your opinion on the political atmosphere during this time?
Well, good gravy. President Roosevelt had just died at the middle of '45. I don't remember the exact date. And Harry Truman took over, and he was an old ex-Army man. I think he was a captain in the Army in World War I. I didn't think too much of him, but our country was in some trying times at that point, and we were trying to come out of the recession that we had been in the 30s, and of course the war pumped that thing up because there was a lot of war productions that were being done and gave a lot of jobs out. Well, then when the war's over, a lot of those jobs became non-existent. So it was just, another time of. But I think in the 40s, with the advent of the war, gave a lot of people jobs, and a lot of people that were unemployable had jobs, and became more capable of handling their family with their finances and that type of thing. So after Truman went out, then a great general by the name of Eisenhower came in, and he was an army man, and he took charge as an army man would take charge, and proceeded to guide the country into a good program of getting out of that problem. Yeah, it's a shame that we had term limits at that point, and Roosevelt started that thing, thankfully, because they were afraid that somebody would step in and become a dictator. So by limiting it to 2 terms, gave a man a chance to work a program that he believed in. I'm not sure about this regime today. I think it took him 4 years to convince himself he was doing something. Now he's going to take the next 4 years and try to do something else. Okay, let's get off of that part of it.
All right, sounds good. Describe your experiences in the 5th Air Force Unit.
I really wasn't in the 5th. I was just assigned to the 5th because of our security unit, and they had an area on their base that we could set up our program. So I really wasn't in the Air Force. I was strictly Army.
Okay. What were your views on the use of the atomic bomb?
Had to be done. The Japanese were prepared to kill everybody they could kill. And they were preparing for some big movements, and I don't like these atomic weapons. They're disasters. But somewhere along the line, something has to be done with them, and I'm very concerned with Iran now, with them trying to get this nuclear thing going over there. Nobody seems to know how to stop it.
Agreed. Was it difficult to readjust to society?
No, I loved it. I didn't have any problems. But again, excuse me, I wasn't in that. I wasn't laying down in the jungles with snakes and everything else imaginable, ticks crawling all over me, like the boys in the infantry units were. So I didn't have that problem of coming back. And as soon as I got out of the service, I enrolled in school. So I had 4 years there to try stuffing things in my brain,
Did you work after?
After what?
After you came back.
Well, just part-time jobs. Nobody wanted to hire you. I was in the Army Reserves then, and while it was against the law to restrict you from being hired, it happened to be that there weren't any jobs available that you were looking for. That's one way they could get out of it. But going to school, I had part-time jobs in the summer, each summer. I even drove school bus for 2 summers, so I had a variety of things to do. But I wasn't on Wall Street, if that's what you meant.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right.
I know what you mean.
Okay.
What was your favorite memory of being in the war?
I don't know. one of the things that I did enjoy was when I got into Japan on the occupation forces. There were two other guys, and I got involved in a little church in a town outside the base. And these little kids had never heard of ice cream, basketball, baseball. So we got those things. We got baskets and basketballs. We got baseball bats and gloves and balls, and we made ice cream a couple times for them, just to see all those kids, screaming in delight about, oh boy, this is pretty good. So I think that maybe we helped it. And I'm sure it happened in a lot of places throughout Japan, but I felt that we contributed something to these young people in trying to understand that we weren't beasts out there to try to kill them, and that we were trying to teach them some of our sports.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Did you build strong relationships with your comrades, and are you still in contact?
No. I don't know. There was one guy that I was, we palled around together because he was from Mechanicsburg. And we both had different things that we wanted to do. I wanted to travel, and I'd hop on a train. We had free access to the trains over there, service people. So I could hop on a train and go on a weekend when I got a pass. I could go any place I wanted to as long as I was back on Monday morning. And I traveled around a lot through there. And that was an ambition of mine. I thought that a lot of Japan was familiar, or was similar, not familiar, but similar to Pennsylvania. And I was surprised to see that. Now, of course, the rice paddies and that type of thing, where they had, their farming was on a hillside. We don't do that. And I didn't see horses that they used for pulling their equipment. But I don't think, in the parts that I was in, I don't think they had farms that was that large. They were sort of small family type things.
What was your favorite place that you went?
Favorite place that I went?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mount Fujiyama. Yeah.
The volcano, right?
Yep. And I while I was there, I picked up a painting on rice paper of Mount Fuji, and it shows a little village. I'll have to see if I can find that before you go.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. And then I got down to I got down into the southern part of Japan, and I got to swim in the East China Sea. Well, you don't do that too often either, right?
Yeah, that was
And
really cool.
yeah, that was neat.
Describe the ROTC program at college.
Well, it's ROTC. Do you take ROTCs at school?
There's actually a program at our school.
Yeah, I know. I'm happily, well, not involved yet, but we're trying to come up with some medals for the kids over there. Well, you started out as basic training, and of course it was after what's the word I want to use? It wasn't a full-time thing. It was just like a regular class. Okay, you took a class that had 3 credits. Well, you took ROTC, and each year, well, you moved up, advanced into what all you were learning until the time of graduation, and then you got your gold bar pinned on you then as a second lieutenant. Yeah. And I was lucky because some of the boys that I was in ROTC with got called back in for Korea, and I did not get called back. I don't know, it was because of my flat feet or what happened there.
Describe your experiences in the reserves.
basically, I think at that time, I think we had a meeting every other week. And you went to in the case, I lived in Carlisle, so we had a reserve unit at the Carlisle Barracks, as we called it then. Now it's a war college. We'd go for meetings, and we'd have a reserve unit there, maybe 50, 60 guys. And we'd get involved into training, and then every summer we would go to a 2-week summer camp. And of course, with me being in the Army security, that reserve unit at the barracks was infantry. So I went down to Virginia, to a base down there for a couple of years, and then I went up to Fort Devon, Massachusetts for 2 years. And then they disbanded that, and then I got out of the reserves. So, but it was basically a reserve unit type of thing that they tried to keep your training updated in case we had to be called back in. I don't know if I agreed to all that, but anyway.
Did anyone else in your family or any friends serve in this war or any previous war?
Oh my gracious, yes. Absolutely. I had a great uncle that was in the Revolutionary War. I had a great grandfather that fought in the Civil War. He was in the Maryland Cavalry on the Union side, and he was wounded and was captured as a prisoner down in Virginia. I had 2 uncles that were in World War II at the beginning. Excuse me. And then my brother, when he was 6 years younger than I, so when he turned of age, I took him down and enlisted him into the Air Force. And then when my daughters got old enough to be married, my one daughter married a young man that had been, he joined the reserves, I guess it was. Anyway, when he finished college, he joined in with the Pennsylvania National Guards. Okay. And he got called over. He was into Bosnia for almost a year. And then for this war, I have a grandson who was in Iraq for 3 one-year terms. And he was with the 82nd Airborne, and he is now out and doing a good job. But we've had family in protecting our country. Yeah.
Describe your nationalism towards America and what influenced it.
Describe my who?
Your nationalism towards America.
I'm not sure I understand what you're asking me. I'm an American. Is that what you mean? No, you don't mean that.
I know you're American. I don't know. We can skip this question.
Well, no, you must have some reason to ask me that. What I'm not sure what you're looking for.
I was just wondering if you could explain how you feel about America and.
I love it. It's my country. Sure. Yeah. I think we've got a lot of problems in Washington, and I'm scared to death that they're going to mess us up with some of this stuff that they're trying to shove down everybody's throat. But I don't know. We've been in bad spots before, and we pulled out of it, and I hope we can do it this time.
Did religion affect your views on war?
Did who?
Religion.
No. No, know, because if you look at the Bible, they've been fighting ever since the beginning of time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Nobody can ever get settled.
Have you discussed your war experiences with members of your family?
Yeah, my grandson and I talked. I wanted to hear about his, because he was into worse messes than I was over there. That mess over there is terrible. And our boys are all coming back. A lot of mental problems now. I just hope the country stands in back of these boys and takes care of them. We called it battle fatigue. I forget what they got a name now for it.
They do have a name, I don't remember it.
No, I don't either. But that's not important now. We know what it is.
How's your experiences changed your views on life?
Give me that again.
How's your war experiences changed your views on life?
Well, I don't know if it had changed any. I just sort of went along, you know. I grew up in a period of a war, and I knew that one day I was going to have to go in. And I think all young people should serve 2 years in the service. I don't care who they are and what they are. They should serve 2 years. You really learn a lot in there, and there's some valuable lessons that you can learn. Now you can be a real knucklehead and get in trouble all the time, and that doesn't work. But the Army has a way of taking care of those guys too. So it was. I think it made a better person out of me, and being able to learn how to get along with other people. That's a hard job sometimes, you know. I may not like you, but if I got to work beside of you, I better figure out how to do that without being antagonistic to you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What would you say is your philosophy of life?
Live and let live, right? Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I feel we have to protect ourselves in today's world because Jolly Roger, Joe Blow, whoever he is over there doesn't like our way of living, and he's out to destroy us. So if we want to continue living like that, we've got to learn how to combat that type of thing, and that takes some lives, unfortunately. I belong to this organization called the Sojourners. I don't know if I told you that before. We're made up of ex-military, all branches, and officers and Masons. And we started a program of putting flags out for the service people that have been killed. And I think the first time it was only like 400. This time it was 7,200. That's a lot of people. And but we put flags out in Memorial Day down at the Indiantown Gap. Have you been down there?
No.
Oh, you've got to go see that. That is beautiful down there. Good gravy dance. I mean, it's a cemetery, but it's really done up nice. And then in November last year, we went down to the Masonic Home in Elizabethtown and put the flags up out there. And that's over Veterans Day, so you should try to talk your parents into driving down to Elizabethtown and see that. Well, they're up for a couple of days, They don't leave them there for weeks because the flags deteriorate too fast. But you'd be shocked when you see that.
Well, thank you so much for your
That's it.
That's it?
You didn't even ask me what kind of ice cream I like.
Which kind of ice cream do you like?
I like butter pecan.
Oh, that's good.
Did you bring some along?
No, I didn't.
Oh, no.
Next
Okay.
time.
Okay.
I'll come and visit.